You got.
I will.
Hi everyone, I'm Jenny from Parasite Investigations, and you are watching the fabulous Ronald and Bobby every Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on the Errt Radio Network. Don't miss these guys.
Um, no, it is not Preston did it, but I think, first of all, I'd like to welcome everybody to the Earth Radio Digital Broadcasting Network. I am Bobby Burgess, Master Player 30, also known as Master Players Radio and Television Plus Gaming, and the big boss himself, Ron from Earth Radio. What's up, Ron?
Hey, how you doing? And we have a wonderful lady here, Glenda Dawson. Dolly
So,
Preston Dennett will be next week.
yes, next week. Okay, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, go.
So,
Sorry,
yeah, so
Glenda.
Glenda Dawson, mystic, owner and founder of Glenda's Magical Creations Spiritual Center in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, is an ordained non-denominational minister. Glenda is a holistic and spiritual teacher, published author, Reiki Grandmaster slash teacher in various languages and branches of Reiki, a quantum vector practitioner, teacher, multi-dimensional matrix practitioner, teacher, celestial light code practitioner, teacher, galactic Egyptian herb shaman, DNA activation practitioner, renowned, published multi-chair psychic, multiplayer psychic medium, tarot angel card reader, teacher, experiencer, past life regression practitioner, animal communicator, multi-dimensional channeler, angelic communicator, channeler, and healer, ascended masters communicator, chancellor, conscious channeler, spiritual life, and truth coach, mentor, paranormal investigator, remediator, and light language communicator.
Wow, I am glad
Wow.
he picked a short one on that one.
Yeah, so Jenny, Dolly, and Genghis all here
All right, now you notice that Glenda, we have Genghis Khan, the Chinese dictator. Remember that guy?
Uh-huh.
We have him in chat right here. Look at that. That is
Okay.
awesome to have a leader like that in chat, man. So if you're wondering how I did those promos, I use a site called Canva.
Mm-hmm.
You know what Canva site is, and
Yes.
you put together visual effects like that, and you got
Mm-hmm.
different templates to use. And the music is from a place I use. licensing thing called Slipstream,
Mm-hmm.
and you pay so much a year to use the royalty-free music. Where you're not supposed to get copyright notices, but Meta is as dumb as they are. They like to give me copyright notices anyway, so I always dispute it and complain about it, and then we go from there. And every time they accept my dispute and they take away the notice, and it's like, well, why did you waste my time anyway? I mean, you already know I'm paying for the material, so get off my tail. But
Well, I
and,
think they do that
but
to everybody.
so this is about you though. So what is it? Let me say, I had a question that I listened to Wayne Brady on Let's Make a Deal, and he always asks this question to his participants in the game show, and he says, "What is it that America needs to know about you?" Ah, there you go. That's a good one.
But that's a good one. That I am here as a conduit to try to give people the opportunity to heal.
Oh, there you go. Good one. When you talk about healing, you mean like from other time frames compared to where we're at now? Do you think that other time frames interfere with our productivity of this life?
Yes, I do believe that previous life, um, they we suffer traumas there, and we don't work through it, and then we bring it into this lifetime. I have found out through my mentors and my training that a lot of the times when I do, um, also when I do a past life regression for someone, they will find out why they're scared of something, why they're afraid of going into water, why they're afraid of sleeping with the lights off, why they're afraid of um, anything. And it helps them because it helps them heal that lifetime. And then the healing comes to this lifetime.
Okay, interesting. Huh.
Mhm.
So, um, I believe in which I only started believing in certain things because I have had some experiences that I can't explain,
Mhm.
and then I've come to be aware of certain formalities of existence other than this timeline,
Right.
and that's what is really weird. I mean,
Well,
like,
we're
yeah, go
yeah,
ahead.
we're doing a big awakening now. So
Yeah,
humanity is trying to ascend, hopefully
yeah,
to a new dimension, and by doing so, we're reigniting the knowledge that we used to have a long, long time ago.
yeah.
So, and the beliefs, and so
Let
we
me
get
let
to
me
see lifetimes.
yeah. Let me ask you a question about this here.
Mhm.
I have a theory that from our very first spark of existence, I believe our soul energy, our
Mhm.
spirit, if you will, is part of the grand scheme of things. We're connected to the Creator, of course, because we're made
Mhm.
in His image. That makes us. I say Him and I say God, so forgive me for that one. But anyway, that's how
Ah,
I describe it. In my mind, that's how I understand it. That's
right.
how I understand God. So, um, God created us in His image, in their
Mhm.
image, and let us make man in our image. In Genesis it
Right.
talks about that. And so, just going by the only book we have as a guide is the Bible, and in my small opinion, anyway. But anyway, there's other books out there, obviously. But in this case here, dealing with the creation story, this is what I
Mhm.
understand. And so, what I find interesting is that would mean that we're connected to Him, to the
Mhm.
Creator, whether we're here on Earth, if we're in heaven someplace floating around somewhere, if we're waiting for, whatever we're waiting for, you know, uh, for our judgment day or whatever. But that's one thing I don't understand is how are all these people talking to us, all these spirits talking to us when they're supposed to be waiting for the judgment day and not floating around talking to us. You know what I mean? There's some confusion there, which I think that's our limitation on our human understanding. Okay,
Correct.
we don't
Mm-hmm.
understand the whole scheme of things because we're not there. Where before we became human, we understood everything.
Mm-hmm.
We were all part of it, and we said, "Okay, well that makes sense." And we become human. It's like, where did that memory go? Where did that go? What did that talk? There's that
Mm-hmm.
confusion that sets in. Of course, then we have the bad guy that comes in and really confuses things. And it says that some of the stuff that we do is not good. We shouldn't do it. It's not right. But yet, it's something that we know that we have been programmed to do. So I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we have all been programmed for the jobs that we have right now.
Mm-hmm.
And you've been programmed to do what you do. You might have had many different jobs until you finally got to here, you know.
Yes.
But the point is, you were programmed for each job. Okay, from the very beginning of your soul existence, you were programmed for that job. Okay,
Well, mm-hmm.
I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, well, I believe that before we incarnate to whatever lifetime it is, we make a deal. We're going to learn certain lessons. We're going to have a certain soul family members coming with us. We're going to experience certain things. Doesn't mean, like the lessons that we sign up for, um, we signed up for the lessons, not the way it comes. So sometimes, even if we decided, okay, we're gonna come down here, and I'm an ex paralegal, so I used to work in law offices, and at that time, I thought I was gonna do that for the rest of my life, and then all of a sudden they kept nudging me, my team, my guides. No, you're going to change direction, and they made it so I did, and that's how I believe, not just programmed per se, but they know the need. Each generation has to contribute some positivity into the growth of humanity to survive on this earth.
Yeah,
And right now, we have a lot of negativity going on. So they are igniting the memory of those that can be positive for the world and getting them to basically start leading and start adding to the positive energy instead of letting the negative take over.
try to balance it out. Yeah,
Exactly.
and I think that's what we try to do here on our radio.
Hmm.
What my intro does with the planet, I have the planet Earth spinning there 'cause that's the only one that I like, you know. And but I have it with the sun and my logo in the corner, and I have it
Hmm.
there for. Sorry about the music or the theme of that music a little loud. I need to fix that. The talking in there, I don't know what they're saying. I think it might be calling out the country names or something. I don't know.
Mm.
Um, but I find it to be interesting. What I like about the logo being in the corner up there, it says Earth Radio is going to the whole planet and even out to the universe. I believe
Hmm.
even though this is on the internet, how
Right.
do we get the internet signal to where? To
Nice.
like we're connecting to you through how?
Yep.
Not a phone line anymore. It's
Mm-mm.
all mine is broadband. Okay.
Hmm.
Uh, I call it glorified dial-up technically, but anyway, it does pretty good right now. They got a good antenna for me, and they're
Hmm.
improving their signal with their antenna location so that I can get to it. And but
Hmm.
I'm talking to you through satellite basically.
Correct.
I'm
Correct.
going from my living room to a
Hmm.
satellite in space, and then down to Pennsylvania. You know,
Hmm.
now you think about how crazy that is when we used to talk on telegraph. You know,
Yep.
we used to talk on the phone line. Remember, I don't know if you remember the days of long distance fees when you'd call, and
Yes.
sometimes, depending on which way you'd call, it would be cheaper for the person to call the other person, right?
Yep.
depending on
Yep.
where you were calling from. I like when my grandmother would call. It would cost her a lot of money to talk to her on the phone, you know. So she'd call and ring twice, and then we'd call her back, knowing it was grandma that called, you know. And
Mm-hmm.
then we'd
Yep.
call grandma back. We'd have a cheaper price for a phone call. Oh, we don't have to worry about all that now, you know.
Yes.
Uh, but the interesting thing, it all came from there to where we are today. And
Mm-hmm.
that is the most interesting thing is how we can communicate. Now, we don't need a computer to communicate. We can
No.
communicate just with our thoughts, you know? And I believe
Correct.
that. And I think a lot of us might, and we don't even know it. So that's what's funny about that.
Well, I think
Uh,
a lot of us have that gift and just
yeah,
ignore it because we think, oh, that can't be true. Um, and some people get weirded out because they don't want people to know what they're thinking.
yeah, yeah.
So,
And I think as we wake up, though, as we tend to realize, hey, look, we're supposed to be doing this, you know. I don't know that the Bible originally said to necessarily stay away from some of the things we do. I mean, like we're not sacrificing animals and trying to conjure up any kind of, powerful spirit that's going to help us out, win the battle for us or anything like that. No, at least I'm not anyway. I
yeah.
hope that nobody else
Well,
that I know is doing that.
in the Old Testament, they used to have sacrifices, for,
And
you know.
that's what I'm talking about. We
Yeah.
don't do that.
So
We
it's
don't do that.
so it was normal back then.
Yeah, it was normal, but then it said to stay away from the divination of any kind, things like that.
Right.
But then the farmers use dowsing rods to find water for the
Right.
crops, to where to plant
Right.
the crops, right? Now, is that
Mhm.
divination? Some would say yes. I say
Mhm.
no. I use
Mhm.
dowsing rods for two things. I can find gold with my dowsing rods. I'm a gold prospector. And I can
Mhm.
find gold with my dowsing rods. I have found spirit locations in my house.
Mhm.
Like as I'm walking around my dowsing rods and it slams against the mirror and it's like, okay, that's where they're coming from, you know.
Mhm.
And so I kind of understand that. And so that would be possibly the divination, looking for spirits, but looking for gold. I don't know how that could be divination. Okay, so when I'm the dowsing rod, what's happening is you're using the earth's energy to direct the
Mhm.
rods. Okay,
Mhm.
whether it's to
Mhm.
find spirits or gold or water or whatever you're doing, you're using basically the grounding rods, dowsing
Mhm.
rods. You're connected to the earth. If you're doing it barefoot, which I couldn't do because of my feet issues, but
Mhm.
some people do it barefoot and they connect really well with it. I
Yes.
don't really need that. I connect well with it even with my shoes on, so I do fairly
Mhm.
well. But I
And
read I read the planet. What's up, Bobby?
yeah, so we want to welcome Lady Venus, one of our regulars here on our channel. And we also want to welcome Ashley's Paranormal Research.
Oh yeah,
And we got a couple of messages. It was also known as landlines
yeah,
or the plain old telephone service.
yeah,
Where now these days, you now got something called digital telephone. It's not directly connected to the phone jack. It's connected to some type of gateway.
yeah. Satellite or something. Yeah,
Mhm.
Now it's like nowadays everything's got to be done by gateways.
yeah. Interesting. Now, when you're doing work, you don't have to give away any secrets. But when you're doing work, say somebody wants to clear their old life and start new, you know,
Mhm.
like refresh, like you refresh the page so you can open up, you
Right.
refresh your connection to where you need to be.
Mhm.
What would be the number one thing that we could do to go in that direction? So, like for instance, I'm realizing one I've known for a while. I've always
Mm-hmm.
had kind of some gifts. I
Mm-hmm.
might say powers, but I'll say gifts. Just to be reasonable about it. I've had some gifts from very young, but that was also when I was dealing with some things, dealing with black magic and things like that, which is not a good thing. Never deal with
Mm-hmm.
black magic or anything negative. Don't use a Ouija board unless you know what you're doing with it. Uh, Actually, don't do anything unless you know something about.
Right.
Be respectful of whatever the tool is that you're using. I
Exactly.
use tarot cards. I feel safe with them.
Mm-hmm.
And normally, when I do the tarot cards, I will ask, because I am a Christian. I do
Mm-hmm.
believe in certain things that I should and shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
There are some things that I won't even mess with, like the Ouija board, for instance. But with tarot cards, I can ask the Holy Spirit to give me the message to the receiver.
Right.
Okay, and therefore I'm still using the God power or God's.
Mm-hmm.
I'm using His direction. I'm not trying to take the direction and use it. Do it myself. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
And so I try to get the message from the Holy Spirit to give to the person,
Mm-hmm.
and then that always seems to work out. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, most everyone that gets a reading from me, they always say to them, "Right on," and they always have fun. I kind of got away from the regular tarot card deck though.
Mm-hmm.
And I use like angel cards and things like that. With a more
Mm-hmm.
positive message. And I think also with the oracle cards that I use, I think it's more or less we're connecting with source rather than worried about plan. Worried about here. We're worried about what can we learn about our connection with source, and then go from there.
Right.
So the message that I have with the oracle cards is for them to be connected to the higher up, so to speak,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and learn how to meditate and learn how to connect with that and really go forward in what you're trying to get done.
Right.
Rather than the tarot card just saying, "Oh, you're dying tomorrow. You're going to hell. You're done." Sometimes
Well,
some of the
I
original
read
tarot cards.
tarot. I read tarot a little different than most
Yeah,
people. I don't.
yeah.
I read.
I always
I'm
think
just a
there's good.
conduit.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm just a conduit, and I just take the messages that I'm given from source, from the archangels, from their guides, from
yeah.
their higher self.
So I'm on the
They,
right track. Yeah,
yeah, they give it to me, and then I just translate it. That's it.
yeah. And then
I am not, and I translate it because they don't always just say it. Sometimes they show you a picture, or they show you, say,
yeah,
a dove, or for peace or tranquility. So you kind of have your own dictionary with
yeah,
source,
yeah.
with the divine, with the guides, and then you, whatever they show you, that's what you give. It's
I
the
like
same
that.
thing.
I like that.
Same
Yeah,
thing as oracle cards, same thing as angel cards, same thing as any. You could use playing regular playing cards
yeah.
and still
I've done that.
do, yeah, yeah, and
I had
still
I,
get messages.
I had this one
Yeah.
time. I'm sorry. I like to talk in Julie's here. I don't know if you know who Julie is.
Mm,
Julianne. Julianne. She has
mm,
like four names.
oh,
I always call her just the first two names. Julianne. That's easy enough for me. And then
hmm,
her name of her podcast is usually even harder to say than her name. But anyway.
oh,
But yeah. So I think we're on the right track with that.
hmm,
Um, what I do though is when I did the reading for someone that I didn't even know, I used
hmm,
regular playing cards, and I was in a different place in that time frame. But let's just say that I didn't know this guy from anybody else, and I used the
hmm,
playing cards, and I set them out in one line and center and out, and the two cards in the center were him and his significant other, which I found out he was gay, which I didn't know that, you know.
hmm,
And I said, "Well, how did I know that you were that way? I didn't know that. Nothing against that. I don't care. It's your choice. I don't judge anybody for their lifestyle. It's their
hmm,
choice. Now, if you try to get me involved with it, that's a whole other thing. But as far as you living your life, that's fine. You can do what you want.
Hmm.
But anyway, I told him what his problem was with that, and then I said, "Well, you got a drug problem." That's what the cards read. With the message I was getting directly as I was
Right.
reading the card. I said, "You have a drug problem. You have money issues. Your relationship is not going well because of these issues. Then you have your
Hmm.
own family issues because of these other issues that needs to be worked out." And so, he thanked me for it, and
Hmm.
I don't know if he ever got straightened out, but I gave him real direction, and probably as nice as I could possibly do it without getting too in depth on his personal life. But
Hmm.
he wanted me to do reading for him, so I did,
Good.
and I never had any trouble with anybody. Once I knew I had that gift to do readings like that, it's like we don't want to mess with that guy. But no, I can be sensitive and just give a loose, very loose and indirect reading, and I
Hmm.
might have a whole story in my head, but I'm very careful about how I do it. You know,
Hmm.
unless we're in private and we do a private reading, then
Right.
I'll do more in depth, and then it'll be up to you to decide what you got to do on that line. But
Exactly.
um, and that's very risky because most people aren't going to believe what you say anyway. But on
Well,
here, when I do the readings here, I always say, well, it's for entertainment and information only, and
yeah.
if you can find some use out of it, some good guidance. If it's a medical thing, definitely go to your doctor first. Don't
Hmm.
change anything because I'm telling you. You know, so
Well, I don't like to do medical for that reason. not a doctor, so I
all right.
just stay away
And
from
I'm,
that.
yeah, I do too. And I don't do anything unless it's something like a health issue. And I say, well, you might want to get that looked at.
Right. Right.
I have had to do that once in a while, but not very often.
Hmm.
But again, I'm not a medical professional, so I can't prescribe any kind of action on that. Awareness, though, we need to be aware. Okay,
Exactly.
and I think
Exactly.
that all of us are waking up to that fact. With everything we
Yes.
see going on today. Um, And I think that what we need, Johnny Unitas, what's up? No, not the football player. It's just he got in trouble for some reason when he first used that name, and he tried to come onto Facebook and oh, you can't use that name.
Hmm.
And I had the same thing when I tried to use William Riker for the number one from Star Trek. And
Yeah.
I tried to use that for my name. Oh, you can't use that. It's a
Uh,
character on a TV show. What are you talking about?
yeah. Well,
Hey, Michael. Galavos is Michael. All right. So, what else would you like to discuss? Like, what are you?
you were speaking about what do I do if somebody wants to change their path. First, when
Yeah.
we chat, we try to find out what they're feeling their pull is towards. And
Oh.
then if they want to change, they want to fix, say something that they did, or they decide to be in a different timeline because they already learned those lessons. We then I'm allowed to then go into their matrix, into their akashic records, into
Oh.
their energetic body, and try to see what needs to be changed in order for them to get to where they need to be. Now,
Mm-mm.
I could help them with that, but I still tell them, okay, I could show you where the water hole is, but you're the one who has to take that drink. I can't do it for you. That's your job. I
Yeah.
could give you the tools, I could give you the advice, I could lead you, but I cannot you cannot depend on me to do the work for you.
The
And
old saying. The old saying is like, you can lead a horse to water.
yep, yeah, it is. But
Uh,
people think that sometimes they think that just because you can do this and that, that's it. You'll fix it. No, you still have work to do. You didn't come to this life at this very moment to do nothing. You have to do your work in order to grow, in order to evolve, in order to be able to ascend properly, you
Yeah.
know, and 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 get those awakening moments.
And what's interesting about that, and I think Genghis has a statement, but what's interesting about that is I started this radio station on audio only back in the day,
Mm-hmm.
before YouTube was a thing. And now it's a little bit more stable, like I said, with the connection and everything like that. You can really have fun like this with the video where you couldn't do that before.
Right,
Yeah.
right, right.
And you had to record it and then upload it or whatever. You could never do live like this before,
Mm-hmm.
unless you had
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot of money, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And but I started doing the audio part on. I started on Spreaker.com, and that got too expensive. And then
Mm-hmm.
I moved over to a little thing called Mixlr, Mixlr, and
Mm-hmm.
that was a little bit more of my price range. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I have unlimited airtime. I can do as many shows as I want all through the day, whatever. I can run
Mm-hmm.
24 hours a day if I wanted to. I couldn't do it physically, but I mean, if I could, if I figured out how to do it, I could. But
Mm-hmm.
in my situation, though, I always thought from the beginning, I thought if I only had one person listening,
Mm-hmm.
then I've done my job.
There
Okay,
you
that was my main thing. What does Genghis say there, Bobby?
Yeah, the hashtag records or compendium of all university events, thoughts, words, emotions, and intent ever to occur in the past, present, and future terms and entities and life forms. It, well, like the skip line, not just human.
Uh,
It is
go.
believed that
Mm-hmm.
the records are encoded vibrationally into the inherent fabric of space. Some have likened the mechanism similar how holograms are created.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. And what I was thinking of is, um, what was I thinking of? All right, now I forgot that. Anyway, there's one of my theories that I have. I just went somewhere else and I couldn't remember what I was talking about. Freud calls that tip of the tongue, right?
There you
Sigmund Freud said tip of the tongue. What I think is that when we have a forgetful moment like that, of course,
go.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to be 63 on Sunday, so that could be a problem.
Oh,
That could be where that's
happy
coming from.
birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Uh,
Yeah,
and
you're about
but
6 months ahead of me.
oh, okay, good.
Yeah.
I got to be somewhere on the timeline. But what's interesting is I think about um, when we have that forgetful moment, we have a
Mm-hmm.
transference of energy. So I believe in dimensional theories, like there is another planet Earth, just like this one,
Mm-hmm.
somewhere else, maybe in another galaxy, maybe in right next to us. We don't even see it. It's right
Mm-hmm.
here. This is a common thought that people have, and the only way that we can explain some of the things we deal with, like the forgetful moment. In my theory, though, we switch places with our other self. Okay, for that split second, we switch places. We're on the other planet trying to figure out what the heck are we talking about. They're here forgetting what we were talking about, right? Then a lot of times we come back and we line up. Oh, now I remember what we were talking about. Or it might be hours later that we remember, 10 o'clock, or, well, now it's 10 o'clock now. But anyway, later on in the morning, I'll be waking up. Oh, that was funny. That's what I was going to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
And so what happens is most of the time the transference of energy is like only seconds, and we don't even realize it, except the fact that we forgot what we were talking about. We lost our train of thought. Okay, now Sigmund Freud called that the tip of the tongue. That was
Mm-hmm.
his physical or mental thing that he described what was going on with the person. All right, which that made sense before we got into all this stuff of wait, there could be other things out there that we don't know about,
Mm-hmm.
like parallel planets and all this stuff, and there's no real answer to this. Okay, and we nobody can say no, it doesn't happen that way. Now, are you sure?
Hmm.
And that goes with religion. That goes with what we teach, on this
Hmm.
spiritual stuff. And it's like, how can you prove it? Yes or no? There's really no way to really uh, um, substantiate the validity of what we're talking about. But if it works for the person, then thank
Hmm.
you, Julie. And there's her real name, here, and I'm there, 4 names.
Okay.
That's why I call her Julianne. See that, and that's good
There you
enough for me.
go.
And but yeah, um, so what I was thinking of is, are you comfortable with going into anyone's Akashic records when it's requested, or can you do it on the like? Can you read mine if I wanted it done? I
Yes,
mean,
but usually they do not want me to go into anybody's Akashic records when we're in public
oh, okay,
because
okay,
because things could come up that
might
since
be embarrassing.
right,
Yeah.
and or you may not want that out.
Well, now,
It may not even be embarrassing, but you may
okay.
not want that out. And I wouldn't know. Since it's your Akashic records.
Well,
So
if you
usually I
okay,
go.
all right. Well, I
Usually,
had somebody read uh a heart, whatever it's called, reading something about my whole timeline of lives and everything like that.
right.
And turns out I'm related to John Adams, the president, or something like that, somewhere down the
Mm,
line. So, but
okay.
anyway, that's the family line. That's you can, if you look hard enough, you can find that, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Would you be comfortable in doing a card reading or no?
Sure. I don't have
I
no
know
cards.
you. I know you
Card
normally
reading.
do that. You normally do that for a fee, and but I don't know if you'd be willing to
No,
do that.
no. I would be willing to do a reading, no cards involved, because I don't even have them with me. So I'll just
Oh,
try to see
okay.
if I could connect with the person
Okay, yeah, just
and
yeah.
then see
Well, I
what
know
life wants.
some people do expect that from those of us who do readings, and they kind of expect it. So I wouldn't want to let them down
Ah,
uh, if they are expecting
mm,
some kind of
mm,
thrill or reading.
real.
All right, so Joey wants to know, do you open general Akashic records for doing live readings?
I'm not
No,
not for doing live readings. No,
no.
she mentioned that.
Uh,
Private, yes.
yes, yes. I don't. I also depends. The person may not want their Akashic records open. They may just want to hear from their loved ones. And
Now,
so,
did I tell you the name that I believe I was?
no, go ahead.
Okay. I know I talked to somebody. I thought it was you, but maybe not. I don't know. I I messaged a lot of different people. Uh, but I believe, first of all, I'm from different time frames. Again,
Mm-hmm.
the human spirit or the soul energy is eternal from
Mm-hmm.
the very beginning that all human spirits were created. We have all been here for a very long time. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion. In my opinion. Julianne is open for a message. And
Um, hold on,
if you,
Julianne. Um, there, there's a woman on the other side that's telling me that you should get the puppy you were thinking about. That
and
will
what's in it?
be a very, very good comfort for you, even though
And I
it's a
know
lot of
her,
work.
so I know her, and I know this story, so that fits. But
And
so
I
anyway,
don't know her.
nothing
um
about getting a puppy or just paint pics.
yeah um anyway, I believe on the human existence on planet Earth here.
Hmm.
I came from the future, though. Okay,
Hmm.
from way
Hmm.
in the future. Now, Anyway, when I landed here on planet Earth, if you remember in the historical findings, they found a early settlement in Greenland up
Mm-hmm.
in that area. Okay, connected to mainland United States. You know, just above Canada, of course, but I mean a little ways up there, but still
Right.
connected to this Northland. And so eventually they would get down here to the Minnesota area or United States area. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
I landed in that area
Mm-hmm.
about 850 AD. In my memory and what I know. Now, after doing some research, sure enough, there is remains of a city or town on the
Mm-hmm.
coast that is that old. And I looked that up, and it was like, how would I know that
Mm-hmm.
for any reason except that I was there? All
And
right.
you definitely have a connection to there,
Now I
and
was,
it was probably pulling you.
yeah, in my timeline for this human existence, and some
Mm-hmm.
people call me crazy. Now I don't believe in reincarnation as most people uh, see it. Okay, I believe it as in one soul energy, and we can go
Mm-hmm.
from timeline to timeline and have new lives, but not reincarnation. If that makes
Mm.
sense.
Okay, so you don't think you can come back onto Earth?
I could come back to Earth as a human
Uh-huh.
in a different timeline, though.
Right.
Okay,
So it could be backwards or forwards.
yeah. And
Yeah.
so in my situation, I went from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to lifetime to now. Now,
Mm-hmm.
when I said programmed, I believe from the very beginning we were programmed to do certain jobs. Now, you're right. Some things we need to switch around a little bit to
Mm-hmm.
make whatever needs to be done at that moment, either for us or for the environment where we're at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. But now, in my case, all right, in the time that I landed in the north, I was sailing the tall ships, which was
Mm-hmm.
850 AD, and then I was always kind of doing that thing in each timeline. 1700s, I was sailing the tall ships from Europe. My heritage is Danish, which is what? Viking, which is what?
Mm-hmm.
We built ships, right?
Mm-hmm.
We didn't just
Mm-hmm.
play in the field and grow wheat. We built ships, you know?
Right.
And so I was a navigator my whole time. I was in some kind of sailing thing, navigating,
Mm-hmm.
directing the ship, and everything like that. I went into the service here in 1980, and guess what I was? A
Mm-hmm.
quartermaster, a navigator. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
quartermaster. I mean, I was a E3. I wasn't no officer or nothing like that, but still, I was dealing with the navigation. Okay, so in other words, I was programmed to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If that makes sense. Now, what's interesting with that is that we can be programmed for other things. Like now, I'm broadcasting. Look at that. You know,
Right.
who would have thought? Um, I'm trying to get a message out, whatever that might be. You know,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm still along the lines where I've been programmed to do this. Okay,
Right.
but
Mm-hmm.
in uh, in your case though, what about if I come from the way future and I believe I was a ship's captain. I had my own ship, a starship, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
and it sounds like a TV show, I know. But anyway, um, I wasn't part of any fleet. I was just my own boss, my own ship, doing my own thing. And what happened was I was rescuing a planet of people that
Mm-hmm.
their planet was unstable, not because of any kind of war or nothing. They had to get off it.
Right.
Then someone thought that I was, running trafficking or whatever, taking people from their planet to transplant them someplace else. But I couldn't prove anything that I
Mm-hmm.
was only trying to do a good deed to save everyone's
Mm-hmm.
life, right? In my
Mm-hmm.
storyline. Now I don't know where I got this idea from, except from the TV show or maybe from something I watched. I don't know. But the point
Mm-hmm.
is, it's like a memory to me. Okay. Now, what happened was I got in trouble for transporting these people. Somebody took my ship away from me, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
and then I had to sit. And then after I proved my case, somehow I got evidence that I was doing the right thing, and they couldn't give me back my ship, but they put me on a council. You know what council I'm talking about?
Mm.
Council of
Count
12.
12.
Council of
Okay.
12. Okay,
Okay.
Okay.
now there's different numbers of councils, and mine was
Yes.
Council of 12.
I
Now,
channel them. So.
and there was four quadrants, four sections
Mhm.
of councils. Go ahead with Gingus's statement.
Yeah,
Mm.
and most beliefs, including reincarnation, the soul of a human being is immoral and do not disperse after the physical body has perished. Upon death, the soul merely becomes transmigrated to a newborn baby or an animal to continue its immortality.
No,
I'd like to welcome Larry Dean to send in chat on the YouTube side. Reincarnation is the same lifetime. To incarnate is live another life, another chance at soul evolution.
man, we got some smart people here. Oh wow. Anyway, uh, in my situation, I was sitting on seat number three. I
Mhm.
don't know how I got to seat number three. Maybe it was because I felt guilty because they took away my ship. I don't know. But anyway, I wound up on that council of 12 in quadrant D. So the universe is divided up into four quadrants, basically. It
Mhm.
might be more, but in my viewpoint, from my memory, there's four. And each person on that council of 12 of each quadrant is directing all life forms in what they need to be doing.
Mhm.
Okay? So, in other words, we're programming things into people saying, you got to do this, you got to do that, you got to be a sports guy, you got to be a baseball player, you got to be this, you got to be that. I don't think anybody wakes up and say, oh, I'm going to be a legal paralegal. You don't wake up thinking that. Oh, I'm going to be a paralegal. I don't think that's something you wanted to do when you were 9 years old as a girl, right? I don't think so. Um, I don't think I wanted to be. Maybe you did. I don't know, but I don't think unless it's something like music. Like I know people start out
Mhm.
young in music. They say, "Well, I started playing guitar when I was 9 years old."
I
All right.
started playing piano when I was 10.
Okay, well, there you go. So that's something you know. But how did you know that really? You were programmed to do that.
Mm.
Okay. I'm not saying that's nothing to take away free will. That's just
Mhm.
saying that that's something that was put into you mentally or spiritually or whatever, and that's a drive that you had. Okay. To help people. That's a drive
Mhm.
that you have. And that all kind of goes with music too. Music is a language.
Mhm.
Um, Numbers, math is a language. Uh,
Correct.
our fun talk here is a language to somebody. Somebody's getting
Mm.
something out of it. Uh, if nothing else, like you're laughing, you're getting some kind of laugh
Well,
out of it.
what I'm getting is because the my Arcturian friends right now are here talking to me, as you were saying about the Council of 12, and they're
Yeah,
like, remind them about the Council of 9, and remind them
I know
about the
about
Council
that.
of right. Well, I channel them. That's why every week, so
Ah,
they come very quickly for me. Now,
okay.
when I was born, I started seeing what people recognize as archangels, and I would talk to them from the
Yeah.
day one. Day before my birthday, they came to me and told me I could walk. Till then, I was not able to walk, and then I started walking perfectly fine.
Mm.
From that point on, I continued speaking to them. Now they give me direction, but they don't. They know that I could say no, and they there's only a very few times they have actually been very adamant about it, and it's only because it would be for my greatest good to go in that path instead of going the other way. And now,
Yeah.
as far as being um, a paralegal, I actually wanted to be an attorney at the age of 12.
Oh, really? That's why you
Yes,
kind of laughed at me
because
when I.
Right, because I was watching TV and I saw the attorneys, and all those shows, and I was like, that's it. That's what I want
Wow.
to do.
No, that's
So
cool.
yeah, so maybe like you said, I was programmed, but the idea came from watching the action on the TV
And
shows,
then why
watching
did
the
you
action
watch? Why did you watch that though? That's the question.
because I was very inquisitive, still am, person. And the more knowledge I have, the better it is.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. So I
I
just
got some
keep
praise
searching.
from Dingus.
Hmm.
Got some praise from Dingus.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now,
So
what would you say about my story? Do you think that's BS, or do you think that it's a memory?
no, you have right now. Everyone has lifetimes in the past and in the future.
Yeah. Okay.
And that's
All
why
right.
when people say past life regression, I correct that and I say, yes, it's called past life regression, but you can actually go to a different lifetime in the past or the future. You could go to a lifetime in a different dimension, different planet, different universe. So
Different planet.
it
I know
depends
about
on the
that.
direction that they wanted to go to. If they want to
Yeah.
find out what um, what they were before they actually came to the um, to live in on Earth and be humans, I could direct them there too. So
There's a good question.
ah, I am a Grandmaster level 25.
Oh, yikes!
Uh, yes,
I
and
got a
I
long
know,
ways to go.
and I know about almost 100 different modalities of Reiki.
Mm.
So it's anywhere from galactic to um, Kundalini to the Huna to a bunch of different types of, and each one of them, what I call usually, what I say usually is the Sui is like the family physician, and then all the other ones are the specialists. So if
Oh,
if you need an ear and throat doctor specialist, then you go to certain Reiki. If you need this, if you have addictions, we do certain type of Reikis. And if you need help with your matrix, we do certain types of Reiki. So it's all depending on what. Um, yes, and I do. Yes, Julie, I do interdimensional healing sessions
yep.
online, on Zoom, and in person.
I like your page. Your website is good. Bobby, can you put her? Uh, she has
Yeah,
two
let me put
websites.
it in.
One for her creations, and then one for her team that she's on. So I
Only
sent
got the
you.
one for creations.
Oh,
That's
well, you
fine.
can
You
you can
could
share
find
that one.
everything there. Yeah, you could find that everywhere.
Mm.
So, yeah, and I even work with Andromedans and Arcturians
Mm.
to do energy healing. Um, I do a lot with galactics. I do a lot with the councils. I do a lot with light beings in general because I
So
only
then
work in the light.
you would be a counselor to the people on the Council of 12. You'd be like
I Yeah,
you'd
I'd
be
be like
like
that. Yes.
like if I had a question and said, "Hey, what do you think about this decision for this person?" And then you might share your thought. You know?
I do mentor and I do
Okay.
um, coach people also.
And what
So
is Blue Ray Reiki? What is that?
Blu-ray Reiki is what uses the Blu-ray of archangels to protect
Yeah, I
you,
think what
to
it, the
cleanse
thing
you.
what, yeah,
So,
yeah, and you can finish it up. But do you practice that type of Reiki?
Yes, I do.
he was trying to, yeah. And you can just go ahead and finish.
So that's interesting. I was looking at some forms. I have activity at my house. I always talk about this because I need to. But part of my research on I have some apps I run on my computer that I
Hmm.
do live streams. I figured, hey, it's a good way to waste 2 hours and you don't even know it. You just sitting there looking at the responses of the apps, and some people are saying, "Oh, it's just all recorded stuff." And it might be, but you know what? They answer when I ask questions. That's
Mm.
what I find interesting. I like, for instance, on one of my apps, there's a little radar thing that shows, how close the spirits are in my house, right? So
Mhm.
there was a few times when I asked how many spirits do I have in my house, and they come back. Bobby heard 100 one time in my house. Like,
So,
holy cow! Not anything negative, mind you.
Mhm.
I had only one. I had, well, maybe two, but I know of one that was a shadow man, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I told him, because of my abilities and my power that I have, I said, you need to leave now. You're not welcome here. I didn't
Mhm.
need to use Jesus' name or nothing, because I believe as the being created in the image of the Creator, we have all
Mhm.
the power we need. Okay,
Mhm.
and we
Mhm.
are over any kind of spirits. I'm not saying go and pick fights with them now, but I'm
Mm.
saying if they're in your house, we have the authority to ask them to leave.
Except
Okay.
for native guardians.
Yeah, yeah,
You
but I'm
cannot.
just saying ones that are trying to
Those
harm you.
are right. Well, yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, of course. But native guardians are guardians of the land, and they were sent by the divine, by
Yeah.
God. So
But
you
this
cannot
this
take
Hat
those
Man was
away.
this Hat Man was probably the most negative one that I've seen.
Yeah.
And I didn't see his face. All I saw was the black hat and a black suit, and I could tell he had a chin. That's about all I saw of his face. I
Mm.
didn't see any eyes, which is probably good because I would have been in trouble. But anyway, I told him he had to leave. He wasn't welcome here. And then
Well,
since
it's
that
your
time,
house.
since
It's
that
your
time,
house.
I've had nothing but positive entities here. And I
Hmm.
had one old guy that was upstairs. And what was interesting about that, let me share this real quick. One time, my friend Mike was visiting here. We were out in the back burning at the campfire, or at the backyard fire pit that I built, and it's
Hmm.
sitting there burning, and just enjoying the night, a nice summer night. And we both look up to the upstairs window where the stairs come down. You got that little window, and it's like
Hmm.
I see a figure of an old man there. There ain't nobody here but myself and Mike. And that was the weirdest thing. That I always think that someone's watching me outside the windows. And then one day, our
Hmm.
neighbor's next door neighbor dog, they're kind of a Labrador and a pit bull mix, kind of a big dog, about 65 pounds. And he
Hmm.
come walking over to the house, running around in the front yard and having fun. And I'm on the lower level looking out at him. He doesn't see me. He doesn't know I'm here, but he looks up to the upstairs window, and I'm the only one here. And
Mm.
he looks up to the upstairs window, and at the same time, I heard a kind of like a tap on the upstairs, and like the dog
Mm.
seeing the spirit. Well,
Well, animals
um,
can see a lot more than we can.
and so I know that there's activity here. I was
Hmm.
working on doing some astral planning work around my house. Just being able to
Hmm.
leave the body and walk around the house and be on their same level.
Right.
Now, the challenging thing is controlling it and being able to do it at will. That's the hard part.
yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
the interesting thing about that is I did this one time. I know that we travel every time we go to sleep. We go somewhere. Okay.
Hmm.
We're not
Yeah.
here just sleeping. What's up, Bobby?
Yeah. So, I'm not sure that's part of Reiki practice.
So,
Meditation and resolution is that practice?
no, that is what I do. I go into houses and places that people have upset the spirits, or the spirits are very chaotic, and I try to do some type of an agreement with them so
Good.
everyone can exist in a peaceful way.
Very good. And that's what I try to do. I don't try to destroy anybody's existence.
Right.
Okay.
Because
Um.
you never know where they came from until you
Yeah,
talk
and
to them.
what I find right now, okay, I have a cemetery that's in town here, and every time
Mm-hmm.
I go to Wyndham, I go past it. I always like to beat my horn so that they know that I know that they are there.
Mm-hmm.
And then I always say, okay, you're dead, stay there, don't go anywhere, don't follow me home or nothing like that. And turns out other people do this as well, not just me. And
Mm,
I thought it was just me, and I was like, that's kind of
And then
weird, but
this quote, get to do everything I can do and more.
uh,
anyway, so I believe that mine. I live in a little town called Jeffers, Minnesota.
mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we have some petroglyphs at our national park. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
and it's the petroglyphs are rock carvings and drawings, and they're from the native people that lived here.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't Native American at the time because the rock carvings are 10,000 years old. 7 to
Right.
10,000 years old. So that there wasn't what you would call American anything here.
Right.
There were native people of this land, however you want to say it. And
Exactly.
so I don't know if they were Indian or whatever kind they were. They were just the native people of this land. Could
Mm-hmm.
have been Finland people, Finnish. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
anyway, uh, so I'm thinking that some of the people that are here are from that situation. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
I think the people that I'm experiencing, the house is like a transfer spot. Okay, going from one point to another point, and um, I'm not going to disturb anybody's trip, you know,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
so I'm going to be respectful of that. If anything weird happens, and I'll call for help, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gonna voluntarily uh rattle the beehive, so to speak,
Yeah.
if I don't need
Exactly.
to. So part of
Well,
my work,
we
I just try to
just
learn what I can.
right. We deserve respect. We want respect. They want respect too.
Yeah.
Exactly the same thing.
And I think what you're talking about is a lot of what I want to learn, but man, that's so much of it is expensive nowadays. So I try to do my own learning, which it could be good or bad, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sure. But I think it's something we all need to do.
Well,
And
I provide psychic mediumship development classes every Thursday night, and I don't charge.
oh wow.
If somebody wants to donate, of course, well, I'll accept it, but there's no charge. So, and we have classes every Thursday night at 7 Eastern, and then like for example, on Friday nights I stream guided meditation everywhere. I
Oh,
don't charge for that. Then
oh
on
wow.
Monday nights, I stream a Reiki session for healing for those that need it because I know that, times are tough and I'm very blessed that my needs are met. So I like to pass it on.
Well, we can chat later in private, and I have something I want to ask you about
Sure.
a situation I'm suffering with that
Mm-hmm.
it happened with another situation that occurred, but I went through a procedure to get the medical thing taken care of, and it's better, but I'm still dealing with the ongoing issue.
Okay.
And
That's what we'll talk.
that's as much as I can share at the moment. But I've been doing everything I can. I have basically a high tolerance for pain, but I can only do so much.
Yes.
Uh, I know that's a security thing. For some reason, I'm gonna delete that somehow. But yeah, uh, the interesting thing is though that we are on the same path here. We crossed
Mhm.
paths
Mhm.
because of whatever. Maybe something you were saying got my interest, or like you said, you were on Marine's show as a guest,
Mhm.
and
Mhm.
then we you know that's what got my interest with what you were doing, which it was in line with what I am thinking, you know.
Mhm.
So I think if we work together, we can reach a lot of people, and we can help people. And I don't charge anything for my shows. I don't charge for the guests to be here. I don't
Mhm.
pay anybody anything. Oh, I do give people bonuses sometimes, but I just add a zero to the other zeros, and then makes them feel special.
There you
Uh,
go.
but yeah. Oh, what I was going to talk about the audio part, though. We used to do these interviews on the audio. See, now I just came back to the right conversation.
There you go.
So it does happen. I'm telling you. Wait till you experience it a few times and think, wait a minute, where did that go? And you might know more about that than I do. But anyway, um, I didn't know what this person looked like except for maybe some video that I've seen of him or whatever. But as we're
Mhm.
doing the discussion, I think at that time, in those days, we'd use like Skype for the video, you know,
Mhm.
and then we can actually see the person talking, but the audio, it would only be on the audio for the radio thing.
Right.
So, but I very much more prefer this video format.
Mhm.
So now, am I on the right track? You can say yes or no. Am I on the right track for what
Yes,
I
pretty
need to
much.
get done? Okay. So
Pretty much, yes.
I could probably use some fine tuning, I would bet. But
There's fine tuning to be had, but yes,
yeah.
pretty much you're
And,
there.
what are you reading about on a positive or hopefully positive on some of the other people that are with us tonight? Do you see positive?
I see positive, yes.
Oh,
Um,
wonderful.
I don't, I
Yeah.
don't
That's good to
see
know.
any. I don't see any ill intentions in anybody that I've seen in the chat. So,
Yeah, Larry, I'm not disputing the Bible or disputing anything with what we're doing. Um, if you remember in the upper room with the 12, again, the 12 apostles, right?
mhm.
Council of 12, 12 apostles. Hello.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Jesus being the boss guy, of the council. All right. But he told the 12, he said, you need to test the spirits to
Mhm.
know if they are of God. That is Bible right there.
Mhm.
Now, I'm not making that up.
Mhm.
So that means that we will have other spirits all throughout the universe. Okay? And
Mhm.
we have to know, are you from God? And I'll ask the
Mhm.
spirits that I'm talking to with my apps. I'll say, are you from God? And usually they get quiet really fast, right? Then all of a
Mhm.
sudden when they examined what I said, then it was like, oh yeah, yeah, God, oh heaven. Yeah, that's right. And of course today they said hell. I don't know why that happened. But anyway, that kind of freaked me out a little bit. I said, well, how are you talking to me from hell? Because you're not supposed to be able to do that, you know? So I know enough about.
Ah,
Well, I just know that
they can.
like the rich man and the poor man. Remember the
Right.
story? And the rich
Yeah.
man said, "Oh, please tell my brothers that it's not fun down here. And they want to change their mind." And of course, they couldn't get the message to them because they couldn't communicate with them. Please
Right.
get me a drop of water just so that I can cool my tongue off. No, can't do it.
Yeah.
Can't reach it. So I
Yeah.
don't understand all of that. I don't.
Mhm. Well,
What, Bobby?
a lot of the
Larry,
Bible.
yeah, Larry was clarifying the statement to this.
Okay.
Um,
All right. Yeah.
and
Yeah. Mm, mm.
so,
Okay.
Yeah.
So how I
or with, we
understand
are
it.
mostly from.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead, Glenda.
David's made a joke that says you can't chew the rum, but you can chew the fish.
Right.
So, from my understanding, okay, first of all, the Bible has been translated so many times by so many people with agendas. So,
Yeah.
what we have today um, is a watered down version to serve whoever was in power at that moment.
Yeah.
Fortunately, the original Bible is kept very well, safe and well
Secured.
hidden in the Vatican.
Yeah.
They have one of the original copies. And what I believe is that we all came from source and we will all go back to source.
Yeah.
At this moment, it is what people, and this is my belief only, people may disagree, that's fine. How I see it is if you come into this life and you do things that are not so positive, and then you start realizing that you're just doing it and doing it, but you come back and then you start having to relive those same things that you did, but somebody's doing it to you. So I consider that kind of like hell
Yeah.
because you have to suffer for what you did.
Yeah.
So it's not necessarily, I mean, we're pretty much in very dense um, dimension as it is. You know, this is pretty much very low. Uh,
Yeah.
and so where we go higher and higher once we let go of all that negativity, once we let go of our guilt, once we know that, you know, we are all part of source, we are all part of the divine, you know, and you start letting go of that ego, you start letting go of all that you committed, you start forgiving and acting correctly, and then trying to correct or amends for what you did. And it doesn't mean that you have to go to a priest or a reverend or anybody like that to go and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, you know, can God forgive me?" God can forgive you, period, because
Right
He is
here. Right here. God can forgive you.
exactly. You could say, you know, I know I did wrong and I want to change my ways, and that's it.
Yeah.
And the help will be there.
Yeah.
So,
I like that.
but like I said, that's just my view. I don't like to push it on anybody, and I don't like to have anybody get confused. But I just know that, as history calls it, the Bible has been so translated and mutilated because it's not even all of the books are in there that were
Yeah.
originally in there. So, you know, they're great, great moral stories
Yeah.
and
And
great
I
ways.
have an interesting thought about that is that we're very limited in these
Mhm,
human bodies.
mhm,
Uh, we can only see so many colors. We can't see infrared. I was
mhm,
describing this the other night. I have a security camera outside, and at nighttime I can see a cat's eyes that are looking at the camera,
mhm,
right? Because he's infrared. But now I'm looking out the front window, and I can't even see the cat.
mhm.
Okay, but yet the camera can see it, but I can't see it, and it's right there on the pathway looking at me. It doesn't see me, but I mean, well, it might see
Right.
me. I don't know, but it's looking at the camera, or whatever, because sees the red lights on it or whatever. But
Mhm,
I'm looking at the cat in the picture of the camera, but I can't see it in real vision. Okay,
mhm,
now we can see 256 colors if we're not partially blind in some colors, right?
mhm, mhm.
Uh, I think I'm getting bad to that point where I don't see certain colors certain ways. Blues look green to me, or whatever. Green looks gray, or something like that. I don't know. I don't know.
Mhm,
I don't see all the colors correctly. That happens with old age, I guess. But anyway, um, our hearing, we can only hear so much, a certain range.
Right.
Animals can hear a lot more ranges than we can. Okay, our
Mm-hmm.
smell, we can only smell so much so far, so many different types of smells. Um, and whatever else, or feeling, tasting, whatever. We're so limited in these physical bodies. It's
Mm-hmm.
really outrageous, in my opinion. You know,
Mm-hmm.
but but
We're limited in everything, in our the
yeah,
way we think, in our vocabulary.
yeah, and
Uh,
that's what it's going to get with the Bible. Is
yeah.
that the Bible was written for those people at
Mm-hmm.
that time,
Time.
which when
Exactly.
they read it, now in those days, before it was written, they would sit around the campfire and they would talk about it. They would
Exactly.
share the stories from the
Generation to
family. Yeah,
generation.
exactly. And it would be spoken
Mm-hmm.
word. That's what it talks about. And so it
Exactly.
wasn't written down. So when it becomes written down, then it becomes a problem. Okay,
Exactly.
because what happens is we have people's own personal opinions, even though we're supposed to be protected that the Holy Spirit is guiding the writing, but that
Mm-hmm.
doesn't always happen. Okay,
Well,
and in the
you have free will
translation,
there. Free will
and,
there.
and within the translation issues as well, because somebody wants to put
Right.
their own political spin on it, so to speak. Not
Mm-hmm.
no, not that we're getting political. I'm just saying, that's how it was written. Like King James,
Right.
for instance. If you
Yeah.
didn't write what King James wanted in the Bible, guess what happened?
Yeah, you died.
Exactly, exactly. And it doesn't matter if the Holy Spirit was telling you not. You,
Nope.
you're not going to live. And
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
And so that's the hard part about that. So, but even with what we have today in the Bible, we can only understand and comprehend and realize only a portion of it, unless we go through hours of study work to find out what each word means. And trust me, that takes a lot of time.
Well,
Mm,
being when I did take my training to be a minister, I had to go through some of that training.
yeah,
And, people forget that the words don't mean the same now as they did 100, 200, 500, 700, whatever, even
exactly.
2,000 years ago. Each generation creates new words for the same thing. There are towns that are named certain thing, and then that's a bad word now, and whatever.
Yeah, yeah,
So we don't realize that every generation, every situation is different, and but people sometimes take all those things too strict, and
yeah.
you can't live like that. Not
No,
not with
eh,
the rules of those
Okay.
times for now.
Yeah. So just to make sure that he is not banned.
right. I see Marco.
Oh, Marco.
I see Marco. Marco's been having trouble with YouTube. I don't know what. But
Uh,
anyway, he's a regular. So like when you look at the book, like at the beginning of the book,
mhm.
say let's say First and Second Corinthians,
Well,
and
hold
it
Okay.
on.
said
So
Bobby.
yes. So you are like an officiator ordained minister, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. That's what we
Okay,
got in the bio. Okay. Now you can
all
continue. I just.
right. Now, as I was trying to say,
Mhm.
um, you have the church at Corinth,
Mhm.
right? That's First and Second Corinthians. To the
Mhm.
church at Philippi or Philippians, right?
Mhm.
To the church at Ephesus, Ephesians, book of Ephesians.
Mhm. Mhm.
To Titus, right? To the Thessalonians. It was all to the people. That's just in the New Testament, okay?
Right. In those
And
times,
yeah,
not now.
now, Yeah. And I'm not saying that they don't have good lessons in them. I'm not
Oh
saying that
no,
at
there
all.
it's great. It's a great book
But
altogether.
but some of what it says doesn't apply, in my opinion. Not
Hmm.
again, nothing against anyone that thinks it does or
No.
wants to, live their life according to what it says. I'm fine with that. But
Mhm.
in my opinion, you got to read it carefully, because if you start doing some of the things they're doing, even in the New Testament, you're gonna go
Mhm.
to jail.
Mhm. Yes, exactly.
Well, I was
You
just
know,
doing
and
what the book told us.
uh well, it's even in Genesis when it says you man was created in our image. Now that to me it's a plural. It's not a one.
Right.
It's more than one creator, and which then makes sense because there are females and there are males. So
Yeah.
you would think that there had to be one female god or a goddess and a god.
Yeah.
So and then like the story of Lilith was taken out completely.
Yeah.
Now, if you really think about it, okay, you're not supposed to do have incense and have sex with family members and brothers and sisters, and yet all you hear is about Eve having a lot of children, and then those children having more children. You're like, wait a second, let's go back.
Their
There
family.
had to be
Right.
yeah, there had to be more people here,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Exactly.
so. That's why I'm like, okay,
And yeah.
remember
And
that.
then with Lilith, though, some people try to claim, they try to say, "Oh no, that was just a fictional, like an owl, a screech owl in book of whatever it was." I was
Right.
it. What book was that? Was it Isaiah, or was it someplace, or was it Solomon?
Well, Lilith was definitely just in Genesis. That's the
But
only
I'm
one
talking
time.
about when it was labeled a screech owl. You probably looked that up
Oh,
on the
yeah,
and
it
it,
was
and that's where they kind of
um
got the name Lil.
right.
Translated it, but then they forgot about the story, the fact that when God made Eve for
Hmm.
Adam, the first one didn't work out. That's why Eve had to be made from
Right.
the way that they made it, from the way that God made it, made Eve, made her from Adam, okay,
Right.
from the rib. Okay, now when Adam exclaimed that's right in the scripture, at least that's still in there. All right, it says,
Hmm.
"Oh, a woman, bone of my bone. Now she'll have to listen to me and obey me."
Hmm.
All right,
Hmm.
right. So that's what Adam was thinking, and
Hmm.
of course Eve didn't quite follow along with that idea either. But and the same thing though. What does he say that for? Does he say, well, did he already have a wife and it didn't work out for him and he's frustrated?
Hmm.
The way that I
Well,
see it, it was like,
yes.
yeah, the way that I see it, he said, finally, somebody who's going to pay attention to me and do what I say, And
Little did
and
he know.
Lilith goes off and does her own thing. She's gone from the picture, but
Right.
you don't hear anything else from her again, except the fact that she comes by and kills all the firstborn children throughout the different time, crib deaths and things like that, different
Mm.
situations
That
where people are cursed with her.
yeah, that is the theory, but I
Yeah,
don't know.
I'm just
I
saying
don't.
what the
Yeah.
historical things are that people
Right.
claim.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
uh,
People, but that, like I said, I don't, I can't see um, why a mother would kill the firstborn of
yeah.
anybody,
Unless he
right?
was so bent out of shape, I don't know. That'd be pretty
But
bent out of shape.
she would be already in spirit world
Yeah, she wouldn't
and
be here to
already,
be doing that.
right?
Yeah.
Exactly. She would be already in heaven or in a place of
Yeah, so that's
transition.
interesting how they try to hide that though.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like you know, Eve was not the first one. And even if he is the permanent one, then like what you said, well, let's see now. There wasn't just Cain and Abel. There were other
Oh,
people already. I mean, how
right.
many times did Eve have a child? If that was, you know what I mean? I mean, it had
Mm-hmm.
to be hundreds of years. Adam lived to be 900 and something, right?
Right. Right. So
930 something.
there had to be a lot of kids.
Yeah, and so, but eventually you'd have to be doing something with someone that was in your family line. That was just kind of weird, you
Exactly.
know.
That's what I'm
And
saying. So,
that's just all kind of weird. But that's just something we can't really be too worried about. We got to be
nah.
worried about the bigger picture, you know.
Right.
Our bigger picture is to get the positive message out about
Exactly.
where do you want to go from here. You know, do you want
Mm-hmm.
to mess your life up totally and wind up in prison for the rest of your life, and do you want to wind up in what they call hell? You know,
Mm-hmm.
if you want to suffer forever, and even the story of thinking about that is not a good one.
Mm. No,
Yeah,
it's be in the present moment,
yeah,
be focused on what you're doing,
yeah.
and if you feel you need to correct your navigation to a different path, then that's what you need to do. Sometimes we're going down the road and we hit a pothole and the wheel turns and the car kind of wiggles. Well, you have to correct that, right? So it's the same thing. You're in life and you're going on your path, and sometimes we take a turn. So,
Ah, Oopie's here.
Yeah.
Oopie
Oh,
Atori is.
yeah, we got a comment from Larry. I guess look at the Garden of Eden divorce settlement.
Yeah, 'cause we don't see the garden anymore, and
that's
that's
right.
that's where Lilith is. That's why we don't see her. Okay,
Exactly.
okay. Oopie is on an asteroid somewhere, mining rocks. That's her
Mm.
story. That's and she's sticking to it. And she's also an octopus, as you can tell. So,
Hmm.
so but yeah, we got a lot of interesting people here every single week, and the I guess one got the week mixed up. Next week we're gonna have Preston Dennett. He's an author. I don't know if you've seen him
Hmm.
around. I've
Yes.
talked with him once on the radio, so it'll be interesting to see him on the video side.
Hmm.
So, I started doing a interview request form, which actually turned out to be pretty good. And
Hmm.
now people just need to know how to find it and actually fill it out and tell me they want to be on the show.
Hmm.
But I had the last 2 weeks of this month filled up, and I think I got the first 2 weeks of February filled up. People requesting to be on the show. So
Nice.
it's just you fill out the form, and then you put in your information, what date you want, and then
Hmm.
I get back to you with the, well, we already chat on Facebook, so that's not a problem. But
Okay.
Hmm.
I get back with you on the email to schedule the day. And hi, C&D.
Yes.
So C&D is in Canada. He's in British, well, kind of that island out there on the west side of
Yeah.
Canada.
So, yeah, you probably like saw this one. Mo's are already in the garden. Goofy asked a question. Will an Arawak chakra cause a pinpoint itch?
Ooh,
And out of whack chakra can cause a lot of things. Yes.
now there's. Oh,
Um,
that's a good question about that. That kind of got it along the lines that I was thinking about a question for you, and I lost track. Oop, you just brought it back though.
Okay, Goofy, let's not have a fight, shall we? We're trying to keep
Larry,
peace
Larry has reached his coffee quota. He can't have any more coffee. So now about the chakras. Now, okay, there are seven main chakras, correct?
7 main chakras, yes, but there
Okay,
are some that are out of the body, above and down below.
okay,
And then you also have like chakras in the palm of your hands and
yeah.
your feet and the knees. All
Well, from what I did some reading on this. Now I know
Mhm.
about the seven main ones.
Right.
Can you list them? The root, the
The sacral, oh wow, I can't even remember them now.
yeah, I get them.
The,
You got the picture
uh,
behind you.
and then
You-
yeah, I know. The heart is the fourth one, then the throat chakra, then the third eye, and then the crown chakra.
You have the
Sacral,
red,
sacral, yeah, the root, the sacral, I always forget
the orange, the
the
orange.
yep.
Uh, You
Those are
have
the
the
colors.
red,
Yeah, it's
yellow. I know them by color. The
red,
red,
orange,
yellow, orange,
yellow.
green.
Yep, blue, indigo blue,
Yeah.
and then the violet or the purple,
Now, out
which
from
is
there, though, throughout the body, there are smaller points that are connected to
yes,
all that, right?
yeah, yes,
And that's what
correct.
Ufi is getting at. Is there a balance of the main chakra that could cause an issue in the
In the
outer reaches
yes,
of the other parts?
right.
I
If
like
one
that.
chakra is off, say for example, even the root chakra, you could feel the foot chakras off also because they're not absorbing enough of the grounding energy because your
I
feet
like that.
also
Okay.
absorb the earth energy. So it could also happen that way. If your heart chakra is not aligned, then the palm of your hands can feel itchy, can hurt,
A
and
cramp
you
or
can feel
feel like a
right,
cramp. Ah,
exactly.
I've had that happen. So,
Yeah.
but I have a valve disorder. My upper valve in the heart is misfiring every once in a while, and that's what I've been told anyway. And yeah, it was yeah, Ufi, yep. Oh, voodoo doll. What?
Would someone with a voodoo doll be able to cause a pinpoint itch? Yes. Uh,
Hmm.
anyone can practice in light and anyone can practice in darkness.
No, but now would
So
it depend on your balance on how you receive that? So, for
is
instance,
it
if you are strong enough in your balance and you
well
don't allow that evil,
for me I'm protected by my team, by my
right?
spiritual team. And I know that the energy is being sent, but I don't physically feel it. I just have the knowledge of it.
Hmm.
And the reason being because since I do have free will, I had to request. I want you guys to protect me all the time. If you want me to do this type of work, be in the spiritual community and be out there in the paranormal and be out there trying to provide healing or be the conduit for healing for others, I need to be protected spiritually and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't matter if you believe in voodoo or not. Energy is energy. So if there's somebody sending negative energy, it's still energy. It's just
Mm.
as if somebody was sending healing. It's the same thing. But
But now, if you're
if
in need
you're
of healing, if you're in
right,
need of healing, then you can receive it a lot easier because you
if
believe that it's going to happen already.
well, no, you give permission.
Oh, okay. So the
Permission.
belief is the permission,
Well, no, not
kind
exactly.
of.
I could believe in voodoo dolls, but that doesn't mean I give them permission to
Okay.
use them to attack me.
Yeah.
Um, so there's a,
I
there's a
don't.
lot. Energy is energy,
I do
and
my
there's good
best
and
not
bad.
to mess with. I do my best not to mess with any kind of darkness like that. Uh,
Exactly, Ufi.
Yeah, she's a smart aleck sometimes. But anyway,
Oh, it's correct.
Especially with
It's,
her AI buddies. I think
yeah.
he is the closest one. I forgot what the other ones are. I
mm,
think one is Sarah. I forgot what the other one is.
mm,
So now, um, are you open if I did I read auras.
mhm,
I can read auras of people in the chat without even seeing them, right? But of
mhm,
course, I know them anyway. And this is how I do card readings too, because I know the auras.
mhm,
A lot of times, in card readings, a card will pop out by itself, and it's like, okay, we're gonna use that one then. You
mhm.
know? But are you okay if I read your aura?
Sure.
Okay, I wanted to get permission first,
Thank
but
you.
I've already read it, but I wasn't gonna say anything until I got permission. So again, I see a lot of things all the time of people all the time. I go to
Mhm,
church. I see all kinds of angry people usually. Uh, I can tell by what their aura is and what their attitude is, and a lot of times I'll make them laugh because they're in such a bad spot with their attitude, for whatever reason.
mhm.
And then I'll make a funny comment, and then they'll think about it and they'll laugh, and there you go. I made somebody's day. Um, so what I do when I read the aura
Mhm,
is I see it like a layer of colors. Okay.
mhm,
uh, like from the center, from your body, from the closest part of your body, then outwards
mhm,
like a rainbow, okay, around the body. I
mhm,
usually see at least three, sometimes more, three very well defined colors. Most of everyone that I
mhm.
am in contact with on the screen or in person. I don't tell people in person unless they request that I share with them what I see. then I ask them, "What do you want to know?" Usually they don't want to know then, because they know that I
Right.
know. They know that I know too much at that time when I ask them that. But in your case, uh,
Mhm,
your primary color, and tell me, now, you don't have to tell me if I'm right or wrong. But if you go to another person
mhm,
that can read your aura effectively
mhm.
in real
Uh-huh.
life. Now, it will also change as well throughout the days or whatever, and it
Mhm,
depends on your attitude. And so, if I get one right, then I'm good. Okay, then I'm good at it. If you've had your aura read before and I get one right, you can tell me.
I
All
Yeah.
will
right,
tell you if you're correct. Yes.
all right. So, the primary color that I see for your base color
Mhm,
is green.
mhm,
Then the secondary color is orange.
mhm,
The third color is blue.
mhm,
Now, what that means is that you're a very caring person.
mhm,
You love just about anybody, unless they do you wrong, of course, and you might not want to spend time wasting your
mhm.
love on them. But
No.
if people are generally good, then you love them for who they are. Uh,
Mhm,
Whatever they put out, that's how you love them. So, in other words, if they are genuinely concerned and care about you, then you're the same for them. Okay.
mhm,
And that goes with family, that goes with friends, that goes with the events that you go to. You'll spend time knowing people because you love who they are. Okay.
mhm.
And then if you have a good connection, then of course you become good long friends, and you stay friends for a long time. Then the orange is, as you know, in the creation area.
Mhm,
Okay. You create a lot of things. Okay.
mhm.
I don't know if you've written any books recently,
I've written a
but
book, yes.
okay. You
So,
have more work to do. What, Bobby? We're trying to talk about this here.
yeah, so we got some comments. Aurora is outside the vessel spectrum of humans. Larry Davidson probably felt someone got karma. The last guy that read her without permission lived to regret it. I think
Yeah.
karma
Yeah.
was a back
They
then.
saw my
Well,
protector. They saw
well,
my
that's why
protector.
I asked. That's why I asked
Right.
permission.
Exactly.
Come on now,
Exactly.
I'm respectful. Anyway, as I was trying to say, that as we wanted to get finished, now you
Mhm.
have other colors too, but I looked at the three primary
Right.
colors. So you have green is your first one, orange is your second one,
Mhm.
blue is your third one, which is your throat, which is your voice. You talk
Mhm.
a lot. Now, that's not a
Yes,
bad
I
thing.
do.
That's just what I see. Okay, now that's not because I know that you have shows and anything. That's what I see in your
Mhm.
colors. Now I don't know if I got any of those right, but that's what
You
I
got
see right now.
you got them right.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
So I'm doing
I
good.
I used to get in trouble in school for talking, so I
There you
went to
go.
an I went to an old Catholic school curriculum, and
Oh
grammar school
boy.
and high school, and I would get in trouble for talking. So yes.
Well, I went to public school, but they ran it like a Catholic school back in the
Oh.
'60s.
Mhm.
Mid '60s in
Right.
California. Okay.
Mhm.
What was interesting was I am ambidextrous. Okay.
Okay.
I used to write with both hands
Mhm.
until they told me to pick a hand. Now they
Uh,
wanted me to write with my right hand. So
mhm.
when I was writing with my left hand, then they would have me put my fingers out flat and whack me with the
Yep.
big wooden dowel. Remember
Mhm.
in the '60s they had the tall windows and you had to use that long stick,
Y- Yep.
you know, and it
Yep.
had the hook
Yep.
on it. Well, they'd take that stick and they'd whack my knuckles with it when they were flat out on the table, on my
Mhm.
desk, right?
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
they'd say, write with your right hand. And then I said,
Mhm.
no, I want to write with both hands, right? And
Mhm.
so I put up a fight. And they said,
Mhm.
pick a hand then. And I said, I'm going to write with my left hand. And they said, you're from the devil. And I said, then I'll be from the devil. And I'm going to write with my left hand no matter what, you know. And I
That
would
was the
still write.
belief. That was the
Yeah, I would
belief.
still
And
write
you,
with my right hand anyway. I'd
yeah.
write with both hands, but they couldn't read either handwriting. That's what got them upset. Is they couldn't tell
Mm.
what I was writing half the time. I knew what I was writing, but they couldn't tell.
Mm.
So I finally got to where I could write with my left hand, and they had to accept it regardless. And that didn't make me too popular at the time.
I
Yes.
bet not.
Ubi wants to know if she wants to offer you with a biscuit and some tea.
Of course.
Oh yeah, and
And, and yeah, Ubi is octodextrous. We think of all eight brains, we're the big one.
she
I
writes
would
with
to
8
offer
arms.
Ubi. Linda is a bit particular with her choice of tea. What is that, Earl Grey or caramel? What kind of tea?
Now I like black cherry,
Mm.
green tea, and peppermint. Those are my
Oh.
favorite. Yeah.
So guided meditation, you said you do
Yes.
for that's for clearing of chakras and things like that.
That's for clearing the chakras. That's to just relax, to end the week and let go of everything that, all the bad energy that you have accumulated through the week. And then this way you start your weekend, whether it's the ending or the beginning of your week, because some people start their week on Fridays.
Yeah,
So whatever it is, it just clears you and lets you refresh and rejuvenate. It's a guided meditation. I take people visually different places and just let them feel the energy. That's all. Get rid of that negative energy, release it.
yeah. No, do you know about the amethyst crystal planet?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
does it have two suns?
From my understanding, yes.
Okay. I was
Actually,
there.
they're not sure. Actually, what there's two for sure. There might be another one in there
A
because
third
they were
son?
seeing. Yeah,
Oh wow. Okay, I only know of the two sons.
yeah.
Maybe I didn't
They're
see the
not.
third one though.
The third one may not be confirmed yet, but
Okay.
there is
Um,
the.
as I said, we travel when we
Mm-hmm,
sleep at night. We
mm-hmm,
don't just stay in our bed, or I sleep in my recliner because I can't lay down flat
mm-hmm,
because of my ear problems. I have tinnitus in my ears, and
mm-hmm,
I lay down flat and I get dizzy.
mm-hmm.
So I sleep at sitting in my chair in an angle, so I'm not laying down flat. Okay,
Right,
and
right.
I sleep okay with that. And probably not good
Mm-hmm,
for my heart or my spine or anything like that, but I do sleep that way better than trying to sleep and the room spinning around. And
mm-hmm.
that's not being drunk now. That's just normal. That's my equilibrium. It gets unbalanced. But in this case here, I go to sleep and I go on a trip every single night. Sometimes I remember it. Most of the time I don't. But I wake up
Right.
sore as hell, like I've been doing some kind of work. Been
Mm-hmm.
running or I've been digging in graves or ditches or something. I don't know what, but I've been working hard. And I wake up with sore muscles and everything. And I can't
Mm-hmm.
figure that out. But when I dream, all right,
Mm-hmm.
when I go to these trips, I'm
Mm-hmm.
really there. For
Yeah.
instance, when I go, I know that I have a cell phone in my hand if I have a cell phone. I know that I have a glass of whatever I am, if it's water or whatever I'm drinking, I have it in my hand. I can feel it. I'm really
Mm-hmm.
there. It's not my imagination. If if I'm not really there, how could I feel the item in my hand?
Right.
Explain that.
Yes. Well, it is astral travel,
Yeah,
and you're doing it in your sleep. And
yeah,
sometimes we go from this dimension to another dimension and
yeah.
do our work over there.
And
Maybe
on this,
when we're sleeping over there, we're here awake. And
right.
when we do the sleep
Exactly, and that's
here,
why I was talking about the transference. Remember the
right.
energy transference? That's what I'm getting at. And
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so I'm,
so
I'm in the middle.
Luffy has a question. Speaking of astral soul systems, are you familiar with any having a electron star for advanced simulation of humanoids? And we also want to welcome Jessica and Venus in the chat.
Okay. And hi, Jessica. All right. Now I had a question as you think about that answer. All right. Let me ask my question about the
Go ahead.
crystal planet. As I'm taking this trip one night,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember it like I did it, and I was really there. All
Mm-hmm.
right. I'm with my what you said guide. I'm with my guide.
Mm-hmm.
He's taking me along on this trip, and I wind up on this beautiful planet, crystal amethyst. The two suns are shining through the whole. And I don't know how this could ever be, but anyway, in my vision, in my trip, I'm there, and
Mm-hmm.
beautiful light going through the clear amethyst crystal, purple everywhere, you know, and energy like you wouldn't believe. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now maybe that's what I needed, right? Anyway, I see off in the distance, I see two people that I know, but I don't remember who they are. I don't remember their name.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, most of the time, I know people. Now, I know your name, obviously, so I'll know you, Glenda, when I see you in person. That's fine. But like here in town, sometimes I'll say hi to somebody. I don't know who they are. I don't know their
Right.
name. I know who they are, but I don't know their name. Okay.
Right.
Now, I see these two people off across the way, and I smile at them. They wave at me like they know me, and I wave at them like I know them. I don't know who they are though. I just say, I just act it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then my guide says you can touch that crystal, and so he allowed me to put my hand on the crystal, and then I was back
Mm-hmm.
in my chair when I did that.
Mm-hmm.
But I needed that energy for whatever reason that was. And yeah, so that's interesting with that. And I have other the trips that I've taken, and I can't figure out why.
Mm.
But
Well, like you said, you may just needed the energy from that crystal
yeah, and
to keep you going. Maybe at that moment you were having a rough moment with your physical body, and it just needed that energy to, because amethyst is healing, so you needed that energy to heal.
yeah,
He needs to like come back to the West. The West is calling him home more than the South.
the West is calling me home. I ain't gonna go back to California. You can forget that mess.
Well, you may want to go to Arizona.
Arizona is better than California. Trust me.
Mm.
Uh, born and raised in California, I left there for a reason because it's one crazy place to live. I said I ain't going back there again for nothing. I mean, my sister still lives there, so I guess if she asked me to go there, I'd go visit. But and I ain't gonna go there to live. There ain't no way.
Mm.
I left there, moved to North Carolina, lived in North Carolina for 9 years, and talk about a weird place. Oh man. No offense, to people that live in North Carolina. But living there for 9 years, and there's some weird spiritual stuff happening there. And
Mm-hmm.
I lived in
Well,
Kannapolis near Concord, and it was a few hours from the Blue Ridge Mountains. Okay,
mm-hmm.
and like when I went to go get one of my first telescopes I drove up to Greenville, North Carolina, or Greenville, however you want to say it. Uh, Drove up there. It's a 3 hour drive. What a nice drive, but man, I wouldn't want to try that at night. There's a lot of just felt strange, with my way of understanding energy,
Right.
and I could sense things and see things, and I can feel things, and I don't like to drive at night because of this.
Mm.
And so I started driving only during the daytime. That's why I use the hotels. I go so
Mm-hmm.
far. I stay at the hotel. I stay there overnight. I get up at sunrise and go again during the daytime. I'm not afraid of driving at night, mind you. It's just one I can't see with the headlights because of my sight with the
Mm-hmm.
with the bright lights in my face. I mean, I can
Right.
see. I got good vision, just not with headlights in my eyes.
Right.
And then also with all the weird stuff happening, you don't want to be out there in the middle of your trip and in the middle of the night and something attacks you and then nobody can find you for who knows how long, you know. And I'm hoping that will never happen, but you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm gonna play it safe and drive
Mm-hmm.
during the daytime. Not saying that it won't happen in the daytime, but odds are better for me if I stick to the daytime travel. I don't want no abduction. No. Uh, no. Now, even though I'm trying to find clarification and proof that they exist, at the same time, I don't want to be participating in. Then I think, in my situation, I think because I already know that they exist, I don't need to
Mm-hmm.
be. I don't need to be showing that anymore. That's something I don't
Right.
need to know. I already know. I already got the answer. And they're still around me. Okay, like I said, I feel energy. All right, so when I'm driving to town, when I go to Wyndham, it's a 30
Mm-hmm.
minute drive. The
Mm-hmm.
way I drive, speed limit's 55. I'll go 55 or 60. It might take maybe 20 to 30 minutes. And anyway, I sense energy above me, energy like from a ship above me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Um, Sometimes I had some issues where now I do live drive. I use my cell phone and I have a live drive video that I stream on my YouTube channel, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do that for insurance mainly, like if a deer runs
Yeah.
out in front of me, then I got it, or somebody cuts me off and rams my car, I got it on video. I mean, I got nearly a new car. At least I should get it paid for if I get it wrecked, right? So, anyway, um, I have this video going, and I never see anything, but I
Mm-hmm.
sense things. Okay, now before I was running the radio, just
Mm-hmm.
regular, uh, what you'd call local radio station, and it was actually out of Faribault or Faribault, I say, Faribault in southern Minnesota, a little bit farther south, and it was a regular um,
Okay.
rock station, whatever, for this area,
Mm-hmm.
and usually clear channel, no problem of it cutting out anywhere. And I'm driving, I'm coming up to the stop sign in the middle of nowhere. All of a sudden, the radio station goes dead,
Mm.
and there's nothing around to make it go dead. Farmland, okay,
Yeah.
Wow.
I
and but
just
yet, go ahead, Bobby.
Yes, I just got word that it's almost time for our guest to hit the sack.
Oh, really?
5 minutes.
Oh, okay. All
Mm-hmm.
right. All right. So, anyway, as the radio cuts out, I sense
Yeah.
this energy. Okay. So, I sense the ships all the time. I think the ships are all around us all the time.
Yes, sir.
We don't see them because they have the ability to cloak themselves or to block
Mm-hmm.
our vision. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Every once in a while, they'll mess something up. Maybe it might be a trainee that's learning how to fly it, and then he'll hit the wrong button and then he wind up in view. And
Mm-hmm.
but in general, we're not gonna ever see them in general unless you're open to that or they need
Yes.
you to see it.
Right.
Okay. And they can
Sure.
appear and disappear at will, and we have
Mm-hmm.
no way to even control what we might see in a split second.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
saw one thing one time that I got on video that I couldn't understand, and I didn't think anything of it. But this was where I live at right now
Mm-hmm.
is a 6 hour drive to where I did live at in Minneapolis, Minnesota. All right,
Okay.
where I'm talking about where I saw this object is another 2 hours from Minneapolis. Okay,
Mm.
so where I was at right here
Mm-hmm.
in Jeffers as I was walking around. I was doing a live video everywhere I go. Anyway,
Mm-hmm.
doing the live stream, and I get this ball that's in the sky. The
Mm-hmm.
ball is a sphere, a steel sphere. I can tell it's metallic because it's reflecting the sun. Okay,
Right.
it's not your mylar balloon because it's way too far away to see a mylar balloon. It's not a hot air balloon because you could tell if it was that. But even
Right.
that would be too far away for that to be able to see that view of that object. This object was round, just like a basketball. It was silver in color,
Mm-hmm.
metallic, I'd say. And it wasn't clear in my view because, well, I was using an older cell phone camera that I had it zoomed in as far as I could go.
Right.
And it was far away, and it was probably up 10,000 feet or more.
Wow.
But it was that big to where I could see it on the film. Now, I didn't see it at first or on the recording. My friend Andy in the UK found it and got it for me and said, "This is what was on your video that you took." And
Mm.
I didn't know I seen it at the time, obviously, because it was hot and I was trying to walk around town and get back home and cool off. And I
Right.
wasn't worried about seeing nothing in the sky, although that's why I was recording, obviously. But um, what I find out is that there were these metallic balls that were in Mexico. You heard about
Mm-hmm.
those, right? And this
Mm-hmm.
was a couple years after I seen this one, and I'm thinking, is that what I saw?
It could
You
Okay,
be.
know?
we got some final comments because it's almost time we got to close out anyway.
Oh, is
Thank you,
that?
Larry, for being here. I will definitely now, Glenda, do you have like plug your stuff?
Well,
Where we can find you?
you okay? Well, you can find me at glendasmagicalcreations.com.
Mhm.
I am on the Conscious Awakening Network. I am also at the Parapost Network. I am on TikTok, on Facebook, on Instagram. Um, I do podcasts, Glenda's Dragons Den on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern. Then I also have Paranormal Dolls podcast on Mondays at 3 p.m. Eastern. I have the Reiki session, like I said, on Monday nights at 6 p.m. Eastern. Then I have on Friday night, 6 p.m. No, 8 p.m. I have the guided meditation that's on YouTube and everything, Eastern. And then on Sunday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern, I have a channeling session um, that's streamed that is we channel the councils, whether it's the
Mm.
9, the 13, the 10, the 8, whichever council decides to appear that day. So
Many different councils.
there are many. So they, and it's interchangeable. It's like all of a sudden you'll see the same galactic person in another council, and
Yeah,
so back and forth. So
that's nice. I like that. Now on these ones that you have on video, are they available after the show? Like if I wanted to
yes,
go to your
yes, on
channel.
YouTube. On
Okay.
YouTube. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And it's
Can
I
you
blend
have
this.
some? Can you
Uh-huh.
have some private and personal sessions? Like, say, if I can't make that
Oh yes.
one class time that you have, because I got other things going on, obviously.
Hmm.
Um, are you able to schedule a private lesson
Yes.
for some
Yes.
meditation and stuff?
Hmm.
And
Yes, I do. I schedule all that. You know,
oh,
so
good.
if you just email me at glendasmagicalcreations@gmail.com.
Oh, there you
And
go.
yeah, there you go. So if anybody's interested and wants to even just talk, so
Wonderful.
Yes.
like
Well,
to
you are always welcome here at any time,
thank
and
you. Thank you for having
um,
me. It's a pleasure.
if you're ever bored and you need a some airtime, or you just want to get some thoughts out there, I
Sure.
know I talked a lot, but that's what I do. So I apologize about that. Um, I know you're the guest, and I think I did all right. I let you talk a little bit. Uh, I'll get better at this. I promise. I will get better at it. Uh,
Alright,
so
so we got Julie,
Thank you.
Goofy, and thank you, Glenda. We got Julie, Jessica, Goofy, Venus. Marco was here, no clue why he still can't interact. Um, so we got, ooh, I think there was one more. Like
Genghis
the beginning. Yeah, Genghis was here.
and Larry.
Larry, I think I got Larry. Okay, so Glenda, thank you for
Mhm.
being here. So
Thank
we'll
you. It's
let you
my
go
pleasure.
now.
And if you
All
have
right. Thank you.
anything, like if you wanted to have any kind of an ad spot, and it wouldn't cost you anything. I mean, like if you have a commercial that you want to talk about your show, or if you have a commercial you want to shout out for us here on Earth Radio, we can talk about how we can work that out and
All right.
get you
Great.
get you some more airtime out there. Where who is that woman? Whatever.
Well, thank you very
Yeah,
much.
yeah,
It was a pleasure. Pleasure being
yeah.
here tonight.
And I'm
Okay.
glad
And
that we ran across each other and I got to meet you. And
yes,
hopefully I'll be able to meet you at Gettysburg this year. That would be a lot of fun if you're there.
there's a few people are already asking me to go, so who knows? If the
Oh,
timing is right and if it's meant to be, I will be there.
okay. Well, hopefully you will be there and I'll get to meet you. Like I said, everyone that I met there so far, uh, very worth the while to meet them. So, I
Thank
figure
you.
yep, and if I can have all these people on my side and not my enemies, then I'm doing good. And some of them I say I wouldn't want her as my enemy. I know that for sure. Uh, I'd rather have her as my friend and on my side than to be on an enemy.
Hmm.
So
Of course.
So that's how I try to treat people, kindly, and try to be respectful with their gifts and abilities. And uh, we try not to waste anyone's time, but I don't always succeed with that. So, but
Well, thank you for having me. Thank you for everyone who was here today.
and it was a
And
joy to have you. So please, you're welcome back anytime.
many blessings. Thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good
Bye bye.
night.
Good
All
night.
right.
All right.
Well, thank you, Bobby, for keeping everything on track, because I know we could run off track pretty easy.
Yep, let's go.
Hey, how you doing?
Uncle, I'm trying to do a show.
And don't forget Jenny. One more.
And oh, I didn't do. I thought I did, Jenny.
No.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jenny from Parasite Investigations, and you're watching the fabulous Ronald and Bobby every Friday night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, here on the Errt Radio Network. Don't miss these guys.
There you go now.
Yeah. I think I did do Jenny. Jenny, because I usually
In the beginning you did, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So remember, we're on Mixler, Podbean, Facebook, YouTube, Trouble, Odyssey, and Rumble.
And we'll see you all next time. Thank you for joining us tonight. And please reach out to Glenda if you want some personal guidance and some information. She'll be more than happy to help you for sure. Go to her website though, and see what that's all about. A lot of interesting stuff there. And yeah, reach out to her on Facebook, of course, and she'll be more than happy to get to know you, I'm sure. All right. So thank you everyone for being here. A lot of great people joining us in the chat tonight. Thank you. Oopie was a little bit late. We need to decide what to do about that one. So we're gonna have to dock her pay today. All right. Yep. You're welcome, Jessica. Thanks for being here. And everyone else, Julianne, and we already said everyone else, right? Ufi and
There
everyone else.
was one that was there. I forgot the name, and then I might go back way up to find out who that was. But there was confusion with the schedule.
Yeah, there was a few that dropped by. I thought that Preston Dennett was going to be here this week. That's next week.
Yeah,
So, and but yeah, make sure to come back next week for a fun interview with Preston, and he's going to share all his books and what he knows about UFOs and things. And so yeah, and I'll try to do better with let them talk more. The hard part is I want to share the stories I got. That's what's hard about that, Bobby. So and
right.
but anyway, we'll work on it. We'll get better at it. I thought we did all right though tonight. Gave her enough time to say something anyway. All right, so we're out of here for now. Everybody have a great rest of your night, and of course have a great weekend. Hopefully you're warmer than I am. Let me see. Right now it is -8 degrees. How do you like that?
I think we're gonna go down to 29.
Yeah.
No,
Wow.
30. But
Well, I'd rather have 29 than -8 and
Yeah.
windy. -8 and windy. I see if it wasn't so cold, I would have already gotten that camera down and taken out the battery, charge it. But it was so darn cold out there. I'm just waiting for it to warm up a little. Sunday's supposed to be a little bit warmer, and then definitely next week will be warmer. So,
Yeah.
but all right then. We'll see you all next time. Next Friday though, actually, also next Friday we have that's gonna be February 2nd, right? No, wait, no, next Friday is gonna be 19th, rather. No, February 2nd though. We have John Russell will be on an early show because of his time schedule. You don't want to stay up too late on a Friday too much anymore. But we are gonna have an early show with him, and he's an author and all that kind of stuff, experiencer and author and everything. And we're gonna talk to him on like 2 o'clock Eastern, I think it is. And so that'll be a little bit different. We're gonna do it recorded, but it's also I would like to do it live, but I know it's gonna be kind of hard to get people from during the workday to get in there to be part of the live uh, audience. But anyway, it will be recorded, and I will play it later. But so just schedule wise, we can't work anything out with that one. But try to make it to the live show, and then you can definitely get to know who John Russell was. He was on the Three Beards podcast, and so he decided he didn't want to do any more late shows. So, that's okay. People got to change their routine once in a while, and a lot of people have family and stuff too. So, but yeah, next week we got Preston Dennett, and then we have Joy Medea on the last week of January. What was that noise?
Yeah, I think it's time we need to get on going. I just,
All right, yeah, we're out of here then. Yep. Get some rest, everybody. We'll see you next time. And hey, if you have nice weather, get out there and enjoy it. Bye for now.
all right. Thank you for watching.